Hello, you're tuning in the latest English news update brought to you by VTV International. I'm Minh and here comes the headlines. Nội Bài Lào Cai Expressway begins operations. And later on, community help to protect the mangroves against coastal erosion. Now, Vietnam's longest expressway linking Hanoi, Nội Bài to the northern province of Lào Cai officially opened to traffic this morning. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng and leaders of several ministries, departments, organizations, and local authorities attended the opening ceremony. The $1.5 billion highway project is 245 kilometers long with 120 bridges, a 530-meter-long tunnel, 13 toll stations, and 5 resting stations. The new road is expected to help ease the high traffic density, as well as boost tourism in the northern area where the popular mountain town Sapa is situated. This is one of the major breakthrough transportation projects of Vietnam, significantly reducing the travel time between Hanoi and Lào Cai from 7 hours to only 3.5 hours. Toll fees range from $15 to $60 depending on the type of vehicle. For many years, farmers in the northern provinces of Vietnam have been importing plant varieties from other countries. The government and scientists have not invested much money or time into developing domestic plants, including vegetable crops. The next report is about challenges faced by vegetable farmers in Hanoi.
For 20 recent years, Chu Thị Chính, a vegetable farmer in the Nguyen district, has been buying imported plant varieties, even basic kinds of vegetable, including cabbage and tomatoes. This makes her worried about the production costs. I have spent nearly $3,000 on plant variety each year, and for those who have bigger fields, they have to spend over $5,000. Nguyễn Văn Hảo has been distributing plant varieties for 14 years. According to Hảo, farmers always use imported plants. The local varieties that Hảo gets used are mainly for personal consumption. Vietnam has been a big market for plants from foreign companies. Farmers have no choice but to buy imported plant varieties for their production, and they are very expensive. Vietnam is a tropical country with advantages of tropical weather and plant genetic resources. However, with the focus on producing rice and industrial plants, Vietnam is relying on imported plant varieties. Vietnam is totally able to generate domestic plant varieties, especially tomato, cucumber, and citrus fruits. Vietnamese agriculture concentrates on producing rice and coffee and relies on imported plant varieties, fertilizers, and pesticides. We cannot cover the whole production process. In the near future, plant variation needs more development from the government. In addition, businesses have to work with both Vietnam and international institutions to find varieties that both can grow in Vietnam and are suitable for consumers. Vietnam's fruit and vegetable export turnover is expected to reach about $1.2 billion this year, but the money spent on varieties each year accounts approximately $500 million.
Moving on to other news, the average time it takes to clear import and export customs in Vietnam is 115 hours. That's according to tallies from 11 custom branches and border gates in 2013. Vietnam's rate is 35 hours higher than the regional average. For 2014, General Department of Vietnam Customs is aiming to reduce the time for receiving custom declarations and registrations down to 5 minutes, the time for inspections to 8 hours or less, and the time for supervision at border gates no longer than 3 minutes.
Vietnam's varied charms are boundless. They will awaken your senses to astonishing wonder. From sight to sound, from smell to taste, you will be touched in ways you've never thought possible. Vietnam is so charming, one visit is never enough.
Welcome back. Now, today is the Clean Up the World Day. Now, Clean Up the World is a global campaign that encourages people to take responsibility for the environment. Last year in Vietnam, the campaign attracted 900,000 volunteers from 51 cities and provinces. This year, the opening ceremony will take place in Thái Nguyên province on September the 24th.
Clean Up the World inspires and empowers communities from every corner of the globe to clean up and conserve their environment. Started in Australia in 1989, the campaign became an annual global event in 1993. Now, in its 22nd year and held in conjunction with UNEP, the campaign attracts 35 million volunteers from 130 countries, making it one of the largest community-based environmental campaigns in the world.
So people know that they're not very clean. They throw their garbage in the drains. They throw it out of the cars and on the road, and then they don't clean it up a lot.
Be diseasy, there will be pollution, water, air pollution, poisoning, and all those things.
The campaign reached Vietnam in 1994 and has been well received by Vietnamese people. The theme this year is For a World Without Trash.
According to statistics, in Vietnam, the amount of household waste increased 10 to 16% each year. Household waste accounts for most of the trash produced in Vietnam every year.
To reduce this upward trend, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment and the Vietnam Environment Administration are bringing together businesses, community groups, schools, and individuals in programs like Clean Up the World to positively improve local environments.
In recent years, many mangrove forests in the coastal region of the southwestern Vietnam have started disappearing due to deforestation and the expansion of aquaculture. The residents of Binh Sơn Commune in Hon Đất District, Kiên Giang Province have united to form a volunteer community group to protect the mangroves.
In 1997, a German sustainable development government agency called GTZ invested in the project called Planting Mangroves to Cope with Natural Disasters in Kiên Giang. Now, recognizing the importance of mangroves as natural barriers against erosion and flooding, the people of Kiên Giang continue the work by conserving these forests. They believe that a healthy ecosystem will contribute to the economic development and stability for the region. With these mangroves forests, I feel happy and safe to farm. I don't have to worry about flooding and the high rise of sea level. The mangrove forests also help create new and non-farming jobs for the people of Kiên Giang province, who can earn a living through fishing in the areas shielded from flooding. With the support from the GTZ, 20 households in the area have formed a volunteer community group to protect the forests. We take turns in volunteering to protect the mangroves forest because the forests have given us so many benefits, from safe homes to stable livelihoods. Every day, according to a set schedule, the people of Kiên Giang take turns going into the forest to inspect the trees, refurbish the fences, and seed new plants into the soil. This volunteer community group is also a pilot model of forest management for the Kiên Giang authorities. We want to raise awareness for coastal residents about the benefits of mangrove forests in terms of prevention against natural disasters. With this knowledge, the people will be motivated for and interested in volunteering to protect the forest. Kiên Giang province has 205 kilometers of coastline. In the past 5 years, due to climate change, nearly 50 kilometers of coastline has eroded and the risk of saltwater intrusion is high. Outside of projects to build sea dikes, the province also allocates funding for mangrove forest protection. The model volunteer community groups to protect the forest has received positive responses in the area. Authorities hope to replicate this model in other coastal provinces in the near future.
The 15 Guy Awards, an annual ceremony celebrating the best of Vietnam's hotels, resorts and travel agents, took place on September the 20th in Nha Trang of Khánh Hòa province. 114 enterprises in the tourism sector were chosen based on the votes of the Guy magazine readers, as well as assessments of the Vietnam National Tourism Administrations and experts in tourism. Winning travel enterprises received the Green Lotus Award for their excellent services and social responsibility. The Guy Awards were part of the 2014 Vietnamese Tourism Enterprise Festival with the theme Good Morning Vietnam. The festival contributes to boosting tourism in Vietnam. Another piece of news on travel. The prestigious U.S. travel magazine Travel and Leisure has just listed Vietnam 6th among the top 20 best countries for solo travelers. New Zealand tops the list. The list is based on two sets of numbers. First is the Global Peace Index, which ranks 162 nations for their peacefulness. The magazine also used the Happy Planet Index, which looks at environmental impact and human well-being in 151 countries to measure where people live long and happy lives. Travel and Leisure magazine added that street life is colorful and safe in Vietnam's largest cities, whether you're exploring Bến Thành Market in Ho Chi Minh City or heading for Hanoi's massive Dong Xuân Market. The magazine also recommends solo travelers visit numerous other destinations around the country, from the northern province of Hà Giang to the Mekong Delta province of Cần Thơ. And now, before we say goodbye, let's take a look at the weather forecast. And that concludes our news update for this hour. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for our programs and updates. For now, goodbye from Hanoi.